What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 44 of Tardy to the Party, a.k.a. T3P, the weekly podcast centered around news and reviews of that holy trinity of pop culture, Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. I'm your boy, J-Sib, and to my left, as always,
KP.
And to my right, as always,
Double.
I look over at Hollywood. It's a desert land.
Tumbleweeds.
No news to be seen anywhere.
You hear the old Western theme? Just the whistle.
It's bad.
So it is going to be, unfortunately, a short news week.
Yes, because there is none.
We kind of have somewhat of a beefy review episode in ways, so should make up for that time lost in different fashions. And I think going forward, we might have to do some retro reviews because it's going to be a long drought, everybody. So,
Well, we'll figure out what the hell that should be.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, and then, obviously we'll have fun, make them tier lists, and see if you guys agree or shit on us in the comments. But really, for DC this week, the only really one thing, and it's not even really news, it's more of a, projection. Blue Beetle is now projected to earn between 27 to 55 million during its opening weekend. You say no, its entire domestic box office run. So
that's such shit. It's bullshit.
Well, they're going based on
I know
past performances.
I know, but still, it's such bullshit that it looks good. It looks good. It's just everyone says, fuck it.
It kind of all comes back into just the lack of faith in the DC brand anymore.
I believe that and other, conspiracy theories from old J-Sib here that Disney just really pays for this bullshit, so then they don't actually ever get competition.
That was an old tinfoil hat, Sib, back in the day.
It's not.
It's kind of inexplainable how people just don't go see their shit at all.
The only thing I could think on the outlying side of that is superhero fatigue in general. But
it's just always. He ran through the numbers though for the DCEU. It's just kind of always been that way that they just don't get the audience. I don't know if it's superhero fatigue or. One thing I've always thought is that Batman and Superman movies have been around forever. So younger generations are burn out on it.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is that DC's kind of always taken that little bit of a second seat to Marvel, of course. So that now people are getting a little bit marveled out on as many movies that are coming out constantly.
Well, and it's the shows, too.
Right. So we got one thing after the other, and then now DC, you could see that there's drops. Obviously, Infinity War, Endgame, shit like that, no. But all the other projects, you see a little bit of a dip. Just because people aren't as excited to see movies that come out every 3 to 4 months. But obviously the SAG strike is going to take care of that.
But it's sad.
It is really. I feel like DC almost has to put film level movies out there, like a bona fide film, to actually get positive critic reviews. Anything below that, it's shit, according to critics.
Yeah.
But Marvel gets away with very cookie cutter bullshit, and it's like, oh, it's great. And it's like, no, it's not. It's okay to good most of the time, and they have some few bangers in there. But because
Marvel fans love Marvel.
This is the fallout of when Christopher Nolan made The Dark Knight. Well, shit, now every movie has to be as good as that, and that's impossible.
Right.
Because that movie's a masterpiece.
Fantastic.
And it's like, I don't know if I fully believe necessarily, it makes sense, but the whole Batman, Superman fatigue thing, because the Batman that just released by Matt Reeves made almost $800 million, which is by far eclipses anything else that's come out of the DCU in recent memory. And the Joker, who is also a character who has been put in the spotlight a lot, made over $1 billion.
That's true.
They're the two favorites that people are. At the end of the day, fucking Batman. People are gonna line up to go see Batman.
Right, and
Batman
and Joker in itself wasn't really a superhero movie or super villain movie. Really, it was more of a fucking
It was like one of the most grounded, realistic takes ever on the character.
And mental health in society, pretty much. Is reflective.
And that's kind of, I think, why it did so well, because people watch it and they were like disturbed, like, man, fucking...
This is how people have it?
Wait, a guy could actually end up like this? Like, yeah.
Sure can. And you can help by...
It's like, yeah, the billionaire that can afford all this shit, that literally probably never can actually happen.
Right.
I mean, or if it did, we'd figure out who he is pretty fast.
Yeah.
But the Joker part, like, yeah, it could just be some asshole that you have no idea who he is.
And he can come out of the woodworks any day.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
It also kind of harkens back to the line of, I think it was Joker that says it to Batman. It's like, you were just like one bad day away from basically being me.
Yeah.
You were like, you're just one bad day away. That's like the difference between you and me.
And that's why their dynamic is always one of the best.
Yeah.
Not consistently.
So, I don't know. Maybe not with Batman, but probably maybe with Superman, because the last two Superman movies, just like the standalone ones, just weren't received the best. You know, like Man of Steel got shit on because it was dark and not colorful and bright, and he's, you know, like you said, saving cats.
He doesn't smile enough.
He doesn't smile enough, and he's not saving cats out of trees. And
I don't want to hug that one.
But then, like, you did have that.
That's false. There are plenty of ladies that want to hug Henry Cavill, okay? Plenty of people wanted to hug him.
God, I'll never forget that line.
God.
I just want to give him a hug. I'm like, motherfucker, stop.
I want to just give him a hug.
Because I want a Superman that you want
Then 7 years before Man of Steel, even, you had Superman Returns with Ruth, and that movie was just terrible. So, I don't know. It sucks because maybe it's just more recency bias that people like kind of see like, oh, Superman movie.
Yeah, you'll always have your faithful, but then like you say, they're just, woo, another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Big hopes though that Gunn turns it around.
Yeah, some consistency will do their universe really good.
Yeah, it's like, it sucks because it's like, what's the answer to kind of help them have success? Because I agree that you don't need 5 standalone solo films that lead into a Justice League movie. But at the same time, there's still like that crowd that needs it anyway. So, but again, at this point though, there's so much superhero fatigue that it's like, what do you actually do here to get this going? Because like, I personally just want it to get going because I just want something different, and also the fact that, you know, the phase 4 and 5 of the MCU, we're just kind of sitting here like, where are we going?
I would like for them to reach into their giant bag of every story that they've ever written and give me like a 4, 5, 6 movie saga, all going in the same direction.
With DC?
Yeah.
And they could easily do that.
I know. And that's honestly, if they would do that to me, I'd be hooked.
I really just, like, James Gunn's universe can exist and all that, but I still would love to, like, maybe, like, all of it, like, leads to, you know, Elseworlds or, like, an Infinite Earth thing, and then, even though it'd be, like, out of place, but still have, like, Pattinson's Batman, like, they cross over into each other.
Yeah.
They'd be cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But...
Into the DCU?
Huh?
In the DCU?
Well, yeah, whatever. Like, if you just do an Infinite Earth thing, I mean...
I don't know.
Kind of like your Flashpoint.
I kind of want the Reeves-verse to just kind of exist in its own thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I mean...
It's because he established it as such a grounded, realistic world.
I know,
it would make no
I mean.
sense
it's
when
like...
you all of a sudden have a flying alien and, you know, a goddess from Themyscira. It's like, it just doesn't jive. It just looks weird.
That's true.
Right.
They'd be remiss, though.
It's the same reason why...
Oh, I'm not saying I want him perma-house. Like, you can still be, like, Earth 2 or whatever and be that own universe, but I'm just saying, like, you have a crossover movie at some point. I mean, if you still don't feel that way, whatever, but I'm just saying that's what I would like to see.
Well,
I just feel like it would kind of break the Reeves universe at that point. If he goes back to it, it's like, well, then what does that mean for that character?
I mean,
just let me have
for
Keaton and Pattinson and whoever the new guy is, all in the same movie.
They would be remiss if they didn't at least do it for some sort of attraction value, because I mean, for that to be so grounded and they're all like, you know, like you said, flying alien and all this crazy shit going on over here, if there was like an Elseworlds project where they cross over and then Pattinson has to be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, how do I deal with this now? But they don't have to do it, you know, don't keep that connection. But,
The only way I feel like that would work for me is if the Reeseverse was done at that point.
sure. And you know, it very well
Because I just feel like you
depending
can't
on
bring
who
him into like a multiverse story like that and then throw him back into the Reeseverse. It wouldn't.
Well, by the time it, you know, could
It's the
ever
same
get made,
reason
the
why
guy
you
would be
couldn't
done.
bring like when like Man of Steel dropped and then there was, you know, hopes of, you know, that, you know, springboarding, you know, a universe. People were clamoring for Christian Bale to return as Batman. It's like, no, Bale's Batman does not work in a universe with a Superman. It just doesn't. Nolan made it too grounded.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't work. It would break everything. It would break his whole reality.
And I think the reason too that, see, that's the problem. That's also the problem though. It's like the good Batman stuff
is grounded.
grounded, and Superman, that it doesn't work for that universe. And I think people are afraid of like, if we make a Batman universe or just have a universe that has Batman in it, that where it works with it, I wonder if people are just afraid of like, okay, but is that just Joel Schumacher shit all over again? Like cheesy and corny and campy and, you know.
Yeah.
We never
I don't
really-
think it has to be. I don't think
we-
it really has to be, but it's like, I think that people are afraid of that.
Well, I mean, I would say this. I mean, even if you look at, I mean, obviously Affleck's. I mean, I agree with. I can't remember who was talking about it. He gets really close to being, you know, the person who is Bruce Wayne and in Batman, and getting both of them as close to probably comic accurate as possible. Somebody
Right,
said
and that's
that.
why I hate when people shit on him and his portrayal of it, because
No,
to
it's
me it's
great.
like, well, he actually played it very well for the both of them, just
Yeah.
kind of like Bale did.
Yeah,
I mean-
yeah, Bale and him very well. And if you look at, I mean, I just don't know if the grounded aspect should keep them from having that. I mean, just because it's grounded, I think that extreme opposite would actually make an even better movie where as opposed to everybody kind of being on that universal problem, world problem type of stage like the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
I think they tried doing that with the Snyderverse. We already had our Batfleck. He existed in a world with aliens and all this other shit. I think he worked. He's got one of the, I would say, top rated among fans, like Batman fight scenes ever in the warehouse fight scene. And it worked. His Batman worked and existed in that universe. Now, the only thing that we can't really hammer that home with is Batfleck never got his solo movie, which probably could have solidified that legacy if that was a worry, that it could still, like, Batman can still work in a fantastical world and setting.
Yeah.
Grant Morrison has written many, many stories where he exists in the fantastical. I mean, even Scott Snyder has at times where he seems a little bit, his more leans into the horror mythological aspects, but Grant Morrison his has been more fantastical and seems to do things that not a normal human would do, because quite frankly, Bruce Wayne isn't a normal human. Like,
Right.
he's trained in all these different martial arts. He's also like really smart and really fucking rich and all this other shit. Like, he is the pinnacle that a
normal
human man could be. Like, he is the absolute pinnacle you could be without
Yep.
having any other magic or powers or anything. So I still think it can work. I just don't think you can take a Batman where he's established in a very grounded universe and isn't so fantastical and then bring him into a fantastical. Like, you can, in a way, like you said, there is that interesting dynamic of having one that's more grounded and then being introduced to a more blah, like a shell shock type of thing, which I think they did try to do with the Snyderverse in a way, because it was more him reacting to the Battle of Metropolis and seeing, you know, Wayne Enterprises get destroyed and all of that. So it was more his reaction to this alien, this superpowered alien that has come to Earth, and that's why he was almost, you know, afraid. And I know people aren't somewhat happy with the decision of why Batman or Bruce Wayne wanted to go after Superman in the movie. I mean, whatever, I get it, but
It's just the dynamic, you know. For me, I like it.
No, they're supposed to always be friends.
they're supposed to be world's finest.
But it's but the grounded aspects
Shit.
that we get. But the grounded aspects that we get, I like how they shoot them because they make them feel so personal.
Right.
And and then
I could be that guy if I was just loaded.
well, and and you know what's cool is like the scenes where he's always pulling up in his car and they're just like on the street talking. Those are meant to drive that grounded aspect of it further so much more. In the Snyderverse, he's always rolling up in a nice car.
Mm-hmm.
He's just that's how he shows up. He doesn't fly out of the sky or anything like that. And I think that helps it make it feel more grounded. But yeah, if they use that in contrast with Superman's fucking crazy shit that he's always doing, that'd be an interesting way to shoot a movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, actually, originally, like, back in college, I'll have to find it somewhere, but before BVS came out, I think Man of Steel might have just dropped. I actually wrote a paper, like, pitching the idea of how to start a DC universe, and I was like, you guys need to do a World's Finest movie second. Just get Batman and Superman together, establish them.
Yeah.
They kind of took that advice. They just went a little different route than I would have, but it's fine.
Right.
But I think that I think that you're right, though, that that's kind of what you need to do as a World's Finest thing, because we got the team, all that, but the two, even though DC technically has a big three, but still, it's more about those two, and like their friends first, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I think that's something that would be, like, I still want a World's Finest movie because I don't even think we have a World's Finest animated movie, do we?
You do, yeah.
Do we?
Oh yeah, it's old.
Oh yeah, it
older.
would be old. But that's like a new route that we haven't seen on the big screen. Is like a like actually seeing Bruce and Clark be best friends and like close. And
well, now that Corn Sweat's in, maybe there's an opportunity there in the future with them being a little bit younger.
I'm hoping so. It'll be interesting what they're gonna make the Batman and Superman dynamic, because I mean, Bruce has got to have Damian, so Bruce has got to be somewhat older. I mean, like, he's already said Bat Family, so that's got to mean that we're at least gonna have, like, hopefully Dick Grayson, maybe Babs,
fucking better. Like,
Jason,
if they're gonna,
and
I don't.
well, maybe not Jason. Jason can come back at a future time.
I mean, I don't like that that's what they're doing, but if they're gonna do that, then I want Dick Grayson to exist. I want Nightwing.
Same. Yeah, it's not. I definitely would have wanted to. I mean, I've even like had like weird like self plans of just having like my own little Bat universe, how I would do it, and it would solely like drive through like the Bat Family and every movie, like extending that Bat Family a little bit further and just kind of going through the big, kind of like big story point arcs throughout to kind of get the Bat Family established at the very end.
Could do that.
Love that.
So we have Dick Grayson,
Which then also could spin off into a Batman International.
And then we got like, and then they do like a Wonder Woman movie where she's even already established. And then in her movie, like, Wonder Girl can show up or whatever. Just have all these second generation characters get established. And then we can just have a first team up movie of Titans.
Yeah, I mean, because
where Dick Grayson and her, Wonder Girl is who I'm saying, then discover, like, whoa, there's this orange alien on our planet, and then this dude who's green that, like, changes into a rhinoceros and shit. And, like, it's just and then they have to discover what the fuck's going on with this chick that's got a diamond embedded in her forehead, and her dad's kind of the devil. In a way.
Raven, right?
Yep.
No.
Yeah,
like, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Dude,
Yeah.
if it had flow to it and I can follow it, I would be so much more excited about movies to come. Instead of these one-offs where you get, it's an hour and a half or 2 hours or 2.5 hours of fucking hot shit and nothing else to follow it up.
Hey, while we're ranting about this, I did not know there was an all-star movie off of that comic line for Superman.
Oh, is there? I'd say I've kind of dropped off.
There
with other
is,
animated
yeah.
Stuff.
I'll have to look for it. I mean, I think everything they've ever made is on Max, so I'm going to look for it. But yeah, there's an animated movie of that comic line. And I think it's like 2 hours.
Word. Might throw that up while I'm playing later.
Hey, just a sidebar so we don't forget about it later. You guys got to watch this fucking Twisted Metal.
Oh shit, that did come out.
It is fucking nuts.
That's on Paramount?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the most insane thing I've ever watched. I don't know what the fuck's going on half the time. It's insane. I mean, it's supposed to be an embodiment of what Twisted Metal was, so they're doing a pretty damn good job. But it's not.
But let's
It's
be
not-
honest, we were so young when those video games came out. Did you pay attention to the plot? No.
Well, there wasn't really one. I mean, outside of you had this kind of collective goal, but everybody had their own stories. Well, there's not really a whole bunch of driving. There's not like, at least as far as I've gotten, I'm on like 5 or 6. There's not a whole lot of car battles. I just wanted to make sure I could throw that in there because just watch them in a future date. We'll talk about them because I'm not spoiling anything here because as I watched them, half the time I'd be like, what the fuck? What is happening? And it's, I mean, gore, inappropriate, sexual, everything.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, that's about what I expected.
Yeah, it's really over the top. The human butcher thing and all that too.
Oh, Sweet
Tooth.
Okay.
Yeah,
My man, Samoa Joe.
It goes into his backstory and it's pretty.
Oh, he's fucked up. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they don't pull any punches. Let's just put it that way.
Good. They shouldn't because
it's
he's
hot.
literally supposed to be like, who's the famous serial killer that dressed like a clown? Was that
Gacy.
That was Gacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was gonna say yeah. 'Cause
Um,
he's supposed to basically be that person.
how does Sweet Tooth, come off? Like, does the voice seem to line up with the physical actions?
No, not even close.
And the little snippet that I saw, I was like, that looks fucking terrible.
Dude,
Yeah.
okay. So
I gotta admit,
It's
I agree with
because
him.
the body of Sweet Tooth is
just
wrestler Samoa Joe, and then Will Arnett does the voice of Sweet Tooth.
I would say it fits better. It fits better as the story goes along, but I would say the writing doesn't do it any favors because he goes, "Oh, word," and like he talks like he jokes and like when you said, "Oh, word," it made me think of Sweet Tooth.
Word?
And
Apparently, it's supposed to be an action comedy, so
it's confusing because you think they're trying to be so serious, and then they just say something that's completely fucked up, and you're like, "Wait, what?" it takes you for a wild ride, and it's interesting.
critics shit on it.
Well, of course they would,
It doesn't have that great, but the audiences seem to like it so far.
and that's what I'm used to kind of expecting now. Is that if it's supposed to be ridiculous, and the critics are coming in and looking at it from a purely like production perspective, you're not gonna get it.
I didn't realize they were dropping the entire season.
Yeah, when you said you're on like 5 or 6, I was like, wait, did they drop the whole season?
Yeah.
Yep, they did.
How have these streaming services not learned?
I will say this though,
Especially
if
you,
watch
Netflix. I'm looking at you.
Well,
if you watch it through, you would not want to have to wait. Because, I mean, you wouldn't turn it back on, probably.
Nah, then maybe that's the consensus there. They figured it wasn't that good.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not even necessarily that. It's not, the episodes aren't shaped in a way that, like...
To grab you at the end?
Yeah. It's like, it's just one long story. And I kind of started getting bored with it because John Doe, the John Doe that's just in the regular-ass car in the game, it's basically centered around him and his story. Which is, what's his name?
Anthony Mackie? Anthony Mackie?
Mackie, yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, I mean, he does okay. I mean, I think there's an entire episode where they're having sex in a ball pit.
Awesome.
He's
Yeah.
probably like, fuck, I want to go back to Marvel.
Yeah, and I think at one point he said, and she said something about, she says, I don't want to or thank you. And he says, you should be thanking me. He says, for not crushing you and crushing that ass. Something like that. Yeah,
Of course.
it's and he doesn't really look that great either. Mackie kind of looks like a lumpy dude. He doesn't look that great in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like he hasn't really been preparing for the role at all. This kind
Well, he probably got the job and then he read the script and was like,
Yeah, I don't have to be buff as shit for this, so I'll take time off.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think at least you'd kind of want to just personal pride.
probably just
look okay
looks
on
at it,
screen.
just looks up at his
Yeah,
agent.
But like I don't blame actors, man, because they get in those peak physical fucking shapes just for these movies, and it's like, God, I don't know. All the props to people who fucking do that on the daily and keep up with that. Not for me. I mean, I like being in shape and looking a little fit, but dude, to go to that extent, it's like, man, that's a lot of fucking work.
You know,
like a lot.
I hate
Well, you gotta
I
think
hate
at
to
that
say
point,
it
it's
like
pretty
this.
much your job, though.
That's what I
I'm
mean.
saying,
It's
you
like,
know, like
you have to like turn it into your.
It's not like they gotta.
job.
It's not like they gotta
pretty
go
much.
work, 8 to 12 hours day shifts and then come home and work out. For however
Right.
yeah,
long.
they could literally work out all day and be
They-
like, "Oh, I'm working."
Yeah, they
Well,
work,
and that's
yeah,
the
they probably
thing is
literally
that
like
they
wake
kinda,
up,
I
eat,
think
work
they
out.
do. They technically have 2 rigorous workouts a day.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
generally
like,
what I hear is like 2 to 3 workouts. Like they wake up, eat, work out. Might go back to working out after, or no.
Right.
Sometimes though, I've heard
That's why I
wake
laugh
up, work
when like
out,
you see
then eat,
advertisements
then go back
like,
to work
the
out.
workout that got fucking The Rock jacked for this fucking movie, and it's like, yeah, because he did
Go back
this
in time 30 years.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Go
it's
back-
like, yeah, because he gets to work out 3 times a fucking day, and
Yep.
like,
and he's all,
and he
was
has
all-
so much money that he can afford all
and he
that
was-
food.
He was a Division I football player, and he like, I mean, and he went
Yeah.
and played in I think a CFL. I think.
You know, now that we're kind of on some tangents here, I will just say, I have not renewed Netflix to watch it. People, I don't think, are very happy with that 3rd season of The Witcher.
Now I know why they're not. The reason they're not is
Like,
because
it's-
they know Cavill's leaving, and so nobody has any interest in it. And the people that are watching it are saying, "What am I watching this for? Because I'm not going to watch next season."
Yeah, I was gonna
without
say,
him."
like, the audience review, which is more what I'll usually look at on Rotten, just dumping on it, and then I don't know any other sites that I'll have to look, but
Yeah, I've seen some pretty piss poor ones, but everybody that I see talking about it anywhere on any social media, it's always, I'll probably watch it. You know, this was like a week or 2 ago, or when it was when the second part of the season just dropped. Was that last week? Something, or it was this week, wasn't it?
yeah, like even on IMDb, the episodes are not rated high at all.
No,
Like,
it hasn't grabbed me like the other ones have. Last season was fucking great.
yeah, I'll say season 2 I thought was very, very good.
Yeah, it was very good. Didn't grab me like that.
Yeah.
It just feels like
So
they're trying to hold on this season because they know that Cavill's leaving and they want to go and do what they want to do. So they kind of made this like a bridge season into what they want to do, which you're gonna piss a lot of people off because that's what Cavill's the super fan and he doesn't want to do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's like, you know, he wouldn't go with them, so you can feel that in the season. That it's kind of just it almost feels like a true bridge season, which is kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
Does Liam show up at the very end?
Shit. I haven't finished it. So.
Hey guys, look forward to season 4. Here's your new Witcher.
If you're happy with your old one,
This-
too fucking
Geralt,
bad.
you look really different.
That's because I'm a scrowl.
Super scroll. Magic. Yeah, magic.
Magic. Fuck.
Yeah. Fuck.
Other DC stuff.
No, that Blue Beetle thing was the only thing I had.
Cool.
Depressing state over here in the DC world.
And the everything world, man.
But we do have do we have any? Do you have any Marvel? No, we skip.
We could skip. I'll just quickly say that I don't have MCU Marvel, but I've got Sony Marvel because Sony just, because of said strikes, pushed back a lot of stuff. Beyond or Across the Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse, whatever that's called.
I think it's Beyond on this one.
It's called Beyond. It was originally for March, and they've just removed it entirely from a release day.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame.
And then Kraven the Hunter, that was supposed to release this year, got pushed back a full year.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
Of course. Unfortunately.
And then Sony pushed back a whole bunch of other big 3 stuff that, I don't know, I'm looking at a list here, and nothing we would ever probably cover. But yeah, that's really all I had, and I will just say that probably as the strikes continue, probably expect the same from Disney here at some point, because, I mean, it's just only going to keep happening across all of it. So, that's really all I had for news.
Well, in the world of Star Wizzle,
The Star Wheezy.
the Weezy, Donald Stephen and his brother Stephen Glover reportedly signed on to write the upcoming Disney Plus Lando series. He's loved that role since he played it in Solo, and I loved him in that role. I think it was perfect.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that. Honestly, in my opinion, I know how people feel about it. I don't think it ever got as much. Definitely didn't get as much credit as it deserved. I think people were just thrown off by the whole non-Harrison Ford Solo. But even he did an excellent job. It's just the movie needed to have a second part to it for it to really have a good basis. It was all lead up, and then the very end, it was like the climax of the story was at the very end. And
I just think it needed a whole, different just main character.
You didn't like him? You didn't like him?
A different main character.
I liked him.
I'll get a lot of
George just
flack.
said in the most nicest way possible. Yeah, they just should have never have made a Solo movie.
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying. Just, I don't give a fuck about Han Solo. New character, please.
Couldn't disagree more, man. I liked it a lot. I liked who they picked for it. I liked how he embodied the character, especially for that time. We add more depth to a character that we definitely needed because he just kind of shows up in New Hope. I mean, they need a pilot, and he's there.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the actor and how he portrayed Han Solo. I've never growing up, and I realize I'm slightly in the minority when it comes to this. I've just never given a flying fuck about Han Solo.
I fully believe that if the movie...
That's just a character. He'd gotten a little more fond of him as I've gotten older, but still, I don't have as much love or admiration for that character as it seems like most people in the fan community do.
Right.
For whatever reason, he's never latched on to me as like a character that.
Yeah.
So that's why when that movie got announced, I was like, well, which I guess I should have supported anyway with what happens at the very end. Fuck me, I guess.
There you go. but yeah, and that's really why they need the second part is because of what happened at the
I
end.
know. See, I would go see that one. I was like, oh, my boy's back? All right, I don't care who the
and it would look so good too, like with his legs and shit, and the color of the lightsaber was perfect.
I fully believe that if that movie got the trilogy that it was supposed to have, it would have maybe brought Ewan back as Obi-Wan, maybe by the second or third one a lot sooner. But then again, Rebels already kind of caps off the whole Maul versus Obi-Wan thing, so maybe not.
But we could get it in live action.
But we could have just got it in live action.
Give it to me again.
Yeah, just like...
More!
Just like with Vader and Obi-Wan, you could have just somehow made it work. That way, at least in 4, you could now have this established reason of why this old Ben, found a pilot smuggler so quick in this bar.
Right. Exactly.
It would have made
a lot more
sense for New Hope, even though, whatever. I mean, I'm not really picking on New Hope at all, but I'm just saying, you could kind of explain, hey, that's why Howie doesn't come out of nowhere,
right.
like you're saying. My problem with Solo is that, and I think I've said it before, that I just didn't care that the origin of it was the Kessel Run.
I agree with that.
I think it should have been something completely original and on its own, and then you could have made the Kessel Run either the second movie or the third movie.
Dude, I would have liked to go see him get the Wrath Tars. If you would have taken out the parsec and Kessel Run, 12 parsec Kessel Run, or 12 and a half, whatever the fuck it was. He tells everybody.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, if you would have taken that out and subbed it in for him going to get the Wrath Tars and losing half of his crew at the beginning, I would have loved it. And I was watching it thinking that, and he's like, there used to be more than 2 of my crew. I'm like, well, where the fuck was that? Where the fuck was that? I'm like, where the fuck was that? I'm like, you could if they would have done that instead of the Kessel Run, would have been hot.
I think I even remember before that was coming out, you guys weren't you guys just didn't really care about just the Kessel Run storyline in general. So that's maybe another thing that killed the hype for it is enough people had already read it that they were just this is really the one you went with.
I didn't even, when that movie came out, I didn't know that's what it was going to be. And then when during the movie, when it became apparent that it was the Kessel Run, I was just sat there, I was like, oh yeah, that's why people are kind of shitting on this movie, because who the fuck cares? Yeah, I've heard it a million. Yeah, because this movie came out after 7, so I'm just like, oh, this again? You're telling me about the Kessel Run again? Sweet, dude.
Dude, they should have
It
started
came
on.
up in 4, and then you rehashed it in 7, because 7 is just a rehash of 4.
They should-
And now I actually get to see it. Something I literally don't give a shit about seeing.
They should have started. They should have started on Tatooine.
Kind of shocked they didn't.
I know. That's what I say. They will beat that shit to death. They will.
Just
But,
watching it, just like, okay, I'm fine with, no opening credit crawl because I've seen Rogue One. Okay, that's fine. Wait, this isn't on a desert planet? Fuck this.
Scrap it.
Yeah,
I'm out.
This sucks.
Yeah. But it was the only thing that was actually cool about the Kessel Run is that you saw the only reason that he made it in 12 parsecs is because he completely left the hyperspace lane and didn't actually, like, it wasn't about his ship being fast. It was him have blind ass luck.
Right.
That's
yeah.
the only thing that anybody got from that, or at least that I got from that. So it was what it was. They almost got eaten by a giant space, whatever it was, creature.
Mm.
But I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. But
Back to your point, though, originally, though, the childish Gambino being Lando is perfect casting. I would
Yeah.
almost say, like, he
embodies that.
and like
character.
he clearly embodies it and loves it. So I'm happy to see him continue that role. Lando's a very I give way more fucks about the character Lando than I do on Solo. If I'm being honest,
Well,
I just think
And that's the best
I
part
just think
about
he's a
Star Wars is
cooler
you get
character.
One or the other. You get one or the other. So you get, like, the space pirate that kind of goes along with the resistance, and then you get that out of Lando a little bit. But he's more of, like, the ladies' man, debutante type of
I feel like
guy,
he's more like
And he's
potentially
out for
the
himself.
James
Yep.
Bond of space, you know?
Yep, and
Just
so
maybe not a secret agent. But
and the fact that they're so close, you can see the character parallels as they stand next to each other. They're friends, but they're completely different in that way, So it's cool that, and that's the thing is, you like Lando, you like that character, where a lot of people like Han, and some people don't give a shit about Lando, but you get that same type of character, whichever kind of person you're there for.
just
You
a
relate with.
slightly different lane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, and obviously he's a creative dude anyway, and and if he understands the character like he seems to have in that series, and being able to portray him so easily, it looked like effortless almost for him. I got all the faith in the world in him, and it's interesting he's bringing his brother on. Do you guys know anything about that Stephen Glover?
I didn't know he had a brother. That's why when
I
they
didn't know
like
he even had a brother, to
when they
be
said
honest.
that, I was like, huh.
Yep, same.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
when I
that.
read it, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, he has a brother?
Yeah, he must know something that we don't. So obviously, hey, until you prove me wrong, I'll stand with you. But outside of that, Star Wars news. One like you sent over the chat. J Sib sent over that one of the cast members from Acolyte said that if fans enjoyed the Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Maul duel on where was that? Where was it? Naboo, right? On Naboo.
I won't remember the planet.
Yeah, that was Naboo.
In episode 1,
Yeah,
though.
in episode 1, if you enjoyed
The
it,
fight.
yeah, the fight. If you enjoyed it,
You're not.
Hmm?
This is Duel of the Fates.
I
How
know.
the fuck do you not remember where, the when, and the how, and the why?
because it's the slowest movie. Because it's the slowest one.
Is it? The one after it isn't fucking a snore fest?
I liked
Oh,
Attack
yeah?
of the Clones
You
better
like that?
than.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Dude, you're just a sucker for all Anakin's smooth talk.
Well, I mean,
I
of
hate sand.
course.
It's rough and it's coarse.
Gets
and it
everywhere.
that got you all bothered.
You know
Hot
what?
and bothered.
Hey, listen. I learned. My Riz came from somewhere. All
My
right.
Riz- you in the theories.
Like,
God, that's good. Look how
Damn.
hot. Look how hot she is. She took that. Oh my god.
Someone's like
and he's
whispering,
like- and he's like
"Hold
10
let him
years-
cook, let him cook."
and he's like 10 years younger. look at this guy out here. Going
Our
crazy.
dads are sitting there like, what the fuck is this? And we're
Still got it. Still got it.
This dude be spitting.
Yeah. No, but it's. There's parts I liked about the first one better than the second one, but pretty much how I think with Star Wars anymore. I don't even try to break it down individual parts. until you get to 7, 8, and 9. But I try not to because it's all meant to be watched 1 through 6. I can't include 7, 8, and 9 in that. But yeah. Cast members Acolyte say if you enjoy that fight scene, then you will love Acolyte. Basically hinting at, of course, all the Jedi and Sith Acolyte battles to come. But
Give me more.
as many as you can give me. Fuck me up.
Fuck me up, fam.
Yeah, fuck me up. But that's really all I got for Star Wars this week, news-wise. On to our reviews.
That is exciting. I can't wait for that fucking show.
Yeah.
It's probably like the only Disney Plus show I have any hope in, and they'll probably,
We got
much
Ahsoka
like
coming.
another Disney Plus show that just ended, probably break my hopes and dreams.
We got Ahsoka coming this month.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that's coming.
That's true.
So where oh god, is he getting the fucking?
Oh, here he goes.
More peanuts, dude.
The nuts.
I thought they were gonna be pistachios again.
Nah.
Oh,
So
those are heat peanuts.
where do we want to
Good.
start with the reviews? We got a few.
know.
Got
Guys-
quite a few.
You guys don't have to
Got
help
a
me out.
graphic novel. We have My Adventures with Superman, the finale of Secret Invasion, and we also have the 3 episodes of Harley Quinn season 4 that dropped this week. I might be forgetting something. I don't know.
You guys have to have to help me a little bit with Superman just because I was cooking. I was running back and forth and missed a lot of it. So.
Oh, that's not good. This one's good.
Oh, fucking damn it! Of course,
God.
of course.
All right. The graphic novel. Yes. Green Lantern Earth 1, Volume 2. It's sexy.
Sexy.
You read it most recently.
Yeah. See, I guess I'm walking through the whole story.
Yeah, I haven't watched fucking none of it, read none of it. So
It's a comic.
I literally,
Yeah, I read
I literally binged it in like an hour.
hell yeah.
The main thing is it does a time skip. And it starts off
Basically opens the same as the first one.
kind of.
It's got astronauts in space.
It's got there's an alien ship that's coming to Earth for like a peace diplomat thing. And there's like it's like a Ferris air station or space station that has, I think, their astronauts over, but then there's also this global defense space station that just turns right away and is going to fire on them. Shit goes down, so then the ship that had these astronauts on it takes off into hyperspace, carrying the human beings with them. So it's like shit. Because they just saw it as a sign of war. God, where does it go from there? Basically, Hal wants to figure out why that happened. That the global, I can't remember the name because I read it forever ago. And I like him. I kind
Basically,
of
yeah, he's just trying to figure out, because one of the people that was supposedly the attacking ship talked to Hal and said that he got the orders to fire, but he never actually fired a shot. So then he was like,
That's
"Oh,
it,
well,
yeah.
where'd this shot come from?" Then, yada yada yada. I'm not gonna lie, man. The reason I don't remember a lot of this graphic novel is because it didn't really do it for me.
I felt like the second one was kind of more of a letdown of what I thought it was gonna do.
I feel like if I broke it down, it'd be very fucking cliff notes. I'm not gonna remember a lot of specifics on this thing. The astronaut team eventually runs into, this is probably way further on, ends up running into a yellow lanterns are now a thing, which was teased at the end of the volume 1. So they're out. Hal eventually runs into one, gets his ass kicked, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he follows the ship because he's trying to catch up to the ship to at least talk to them. But when he's chasing it, a yellow lantern appears in front of him. And yeah, I think they kind of fight, but he gets his ass beat. So then I think he hightails it back to Oa. And I think the rest of the Green Lanterns are kind of reporting on these new yellow-powered people that are just kind of popping up all over the universe. And they're basically saying, I think, to all the Green Lanterns that, you don't need to be the police force in the galaxy anymore. We're more powerful than you are, so we'll take it from here. And then, yeah, so sorry to interject, but that's kind of what happens there.
Yeah, and then the lead Guardian or the only Guardian left, tries to recruit all of the Green Lanterns and says
Yeah.
he'll spare him, blah, 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 blah. Hal doesn't want to do it. Sinestro joins for his home planet so he can have more power to defend them and their best interests.
So-
A couple more might have went to. I don't know if anybody really
couple
notable.
Greens go.
Eventually, then the actual humans, which consists of Jon Stewart and these other two fucking people I don't give a shit about. They run into a Yellow
Man,
Lantern.
Dude, you
Sad
know what?
but true.
Listen. I'm telling you, we could make $1 million fucking dollars if Jordan just narrates these books just like that. he cliff notes with Jay Sib, and he just comes in and just and this fucking guy just comes up and who gives a fuck. And
What's funny is I've thought about it. I don't know how we would implement it yet, but I was trying to, how there used to be that drunk history thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
exactly what I was thinking.
I was wondering if we could do something like that, but it's like, you come in and try to describe history of like DC, and it's like me coming in and trying to describe history of Star Wars, or like somehow like flip flopping around where we try to tell the story of like what we're least familiar with.
That'd be hilarious. I'm in.
I don't know why I thought of that, but I was just like, that'd be kind of fun to do.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the Jon Stewart and these other two fucks, they run into a Yellow Lantern, and he's depressy, guys. He's like me, Actually, he's on a whole new level. He clearly hates being a Yellow Lantern and wants to basically give up his ring because he doesn't like basically what he's kind of being forced to do, and basically offers his ring to Jon Stewart and crew. I can't remember. Does he end up dying? I don't know what happened. Or did he just go away? Just go away?
He gives his ring out because they eventually land on a planet, and there's like an uprising that's going to be going on. So then they start to escape. I think he catches up to them, and they're kind of like, "Oh shit!" But then he just goes like, "Take this," and they're like, "What?" And he basically says, "I'm being asked to do things I don't morally feel correct in doing, and like it's wrong, and I don't want this anymore." And he basically, he just gives them the ring, and then he just goes away.
Pieces out.
Yeah, pieces out.
Then one of the people tries using it. Doesn't she fuck up or something, and then just immediately hands it over to Jon Stewart because he's more
He has a military
background.
Yeah.
So instead of our boy Jon Stewart becoming a Green Lantern, he is now a Yellow Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, it's one of the few things where I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Different little twist.
Yeah, because again, like the yellow rings work just like the green ones. Like you don't have to be chosen; you just like can put it on and use it right away.
So back to the whole Guardian thing. So after Hal and them deny it, they go back. Is it to Oa? And then they find out it's kind of getting the dome put over it again or something like that. When does that happen? Because it looks like the dome's getting put over it again. Because it's before the Guardian teleports it. I don't know what happens in between there. Like I said, very Cliff Note version. I was kind of bored a lot through this graphic novel.
See, I'm trying to think of what happens.
And I think the reason is because the Lantern show is kind of sold on us to take inspiration from this graphic novel series,
Right.
but also was said in the light of it's going to be a buddy cop sort of true detective story. So I was kind of expecting something somewhat similar in the novel, and it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, because I don't think that.
And like I said, I was just kind of bored the whole time.
Well, and two, I barely remember. Hal and Stewart do interact with each other, but I feel like it's very brief. It's not like there's not like a lot.
And isn't it like towards the end?
It is.
I think Stewart saves him, right, or something like that.
Stewart saves him because basically Hal's like he's like out in space. His ring's low on power, and I think at that point when his ring is low on power, it's because the big green battery
On Oa.
That's when it got teleported. So
To an alternate dimension.
yeah. Yeah, because somewhere in there they figure out that basically the Guardian can travel to an alternate dimension with his ship. And that's the thing about it, is that I think one of the Yellow Lanterns tells them that, no, he, like, basically, he lied to you. He made the Manhunters to murder the other Guardians and then to stop the Green Lanterns, but then he lost control of them, so that's why he turned tail and jumped dimensions. And then when he was in the other dimension, like, that's where these beings were. That's who he took to make his first Yellow Lanterns. So, again, this is very Cliff Notes because I kind of read it, and the second volume didn't really go like the direction I thought it was going to, and
Yeah, I will say apologies for the terrible breakdown here. We were supposed to review this last week when it would have been a lot more fresh in my mind.
Yeah, in your mind.
And we completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fair because I've completely forgot about this.
I cannot remember.
Yeah, you guys don't sound near as excited about it just after the first.
Well, yeah.
I just felt like it retreaded a lot of the same things.
I don't know that the dome was being rebuilt, but I think what happens is that eventually the Yellow Lantern Corps comes after the Green Lantern Corps because the Guardian told them, give up being Green Lantern. Like, if you're not with me, you're my enemy. And he's like, if you don't give up being Green Lanterns, then we'll just come, like, destroy you. And then he comes to Oa, and they're like fighting each other, and I think Green Lanterns are getting killed, and
the damn yellow.
Yeah,
damn yellow.
Damn yellow.
Yeah.
Be Kevin's biggest weakness right now. He's wearing the green.
That's right.
Right.
Oh shit, he's got yellow on.
So
fuck.
The battery then
conflicted.
That's when he teleports the battery across dimensions, but then. I don't know. It comes.
So yeah, that would be around the point where Hal would lose his power. Jonathan Stewart saves
Yeah.
him, and then Hal's all like, "I gotta do this on my own." And then he goes to talk to the Guardian inside, and then he just kind of. I don't exactly remember what the exchange was, but they tussle a little bit, and then they swap dimensions again. So Hal's right near the battery.
Like the Guardian's got this big like power generating like thing in his ship, and I can't remember what he explained it to be. Oh, he's going to reset the universe. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, because he asked Hal to join him because he's like, with my power or whatever and your moral compass, we could make the perfect world.
Yeah. So basically the Guardian has this power to like reset the universe. And
everybody's always trying to do that.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Everybody always trying to do
it. So Hal, he does ask Hal to join him, and Hal basically, I think he says like, oh yeah, sure, just to eventually just stab him in the back anyway. And what ends up happening is it gets destroyed, or like it triggers like the ship to jump into the other dimension. Like that's kind of how it essentially ends, is that Hal, he does kill the Guardian, but then he has to jump over into the other dimension. So there's no more lanterns of either anymore, and the universe just kind of goes on. And they all think that like he sacrificed himself to save the universe, and then like I think in the last strip it shows he's in the other dimension and he's like still a lantern because the giant battery's still in that dimension. So he can be a lantern in that other dimension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like,
it wasn't that great of a second volume. Like the story, and I think it's warranted that the reason it's not so interesting is that we were reading it knowing that the show is supposed to get inspiration from these two graphic novels.
Yeah.
And again, in volume 1, the whole like mystery to solve part of it is present in there.
Yeah.
Like there's like, the story develops, but there's still like unanswered things, and there's still like some mystery to it.
Yeah.
But with volume 2, it sort of has that element because, again, there's the whole thing that happens on Earth, and they're trying to figure out, like, well, this guy's saying they never fired, so why was there a blast that came and put a hole in this ship? And they're trying to figure out, like, okay, what's going on here? And basically it leads into, It was a Yellow Lantern that did it from the Guardians order because the Guardians wants to use the Yellow Lanterns to defeat the Green Lanterns to then also, essentially again, the end goal of him is to reset the universe. So there is a little bit of that mystery element. I think like what killed it for me in Volume 2 is that, like he and I said, the interaction with Stewart and Jordan is for a brief moment in the graphic novel.
So the buddy cop thing doesn't continue.
It
It
barely even exists.
It barely
establishes
exists.
itself.
No,
Yeah, it
it's
barely
literally
exists. Like
just
he
like
said,
Stewart saves him in a brief moment, and that's
Yeah,
that's kind of it.
because Jordan's like, again, it's just like in Volume 1, he's out in space somewhere, and they just so happen to like pass him because Stewart's using the yellow ring to travel through space, like with the two people he's got, like shielded around them, and then they're trying to like go back to Earth. And they happen to just, I believe that's what it is, and I think they just happenstance that, oh, Hal Jordan's randomly floating out here, about to die,
Yeah.
and I'll save him, and that's just kind of it.
Okay. That's
For
weird.
me,
That's weird.
The problem with this novel, like it does, like they make some interesting choices, like Stewart being a Yellow Lantern, the way it ends, where he's in an alternate dimension with the battery, and he's the only Green Lantern out there. There's some interesting choices that they make. I'm like, all right, that's intriguing. I'd like to. It'd be interesting to see where that story would go from there, or whatever. But the problem with me for this Volume 2 is it's just like this writer must have been a George Lucas fan. And everything's got it's like a poem. It's got a rhyme. Because this basically feels like the exact same fucking novel all over again. It's like we even start off with astronauts in space. Catastrophe happens just like it does in the first one. We're dealing with the same villain who basically, instead of the Manhunters this time, remakes a new army, which is the Yellow Lanterns, to go after the Green Lanterns again. And then we're back to trying to destroy or get rid of the big power battery again. Just like we went through this in Volume 1. Like, you guys couldn't do something a little different in Volume 2 and then maybe come back to this in Volume 3? Like, it just felt like I was reading the whole thing over again, and it just was way less interesting than it was the first time. And
Okay, I gotta say, too, the whole thing with Green Lantern is, how could my mentor Sinestro turn to evil? Like, that's the big thing of Hal Jordan starting off, like, the story. This thing, it just totally shits on that, and, like he said, Sinestro's just like, well, I want to protect my sector and my home planet a lot better. They're way stronger than us. Yeah, I'm just going to go take one. And then he and like 50 lanterns, whatever it is, they go and take yellow rings because of that same reason. That's kind of it. Jordan doesn't ever fight him, go toe-to-toe with him. Like, oh, dude, how could you betray us? None of that. And then later, all those same greens that turned yellow, just eventually like, we've seen the error of our ways. And we're going to fight alongside you against this Guardian asshole now. Because that's the thing, too, is that eventually green and yellows fight whatever forces that I think the Guardian has. I can't remember what it is. But, yeah, eventually... Or maybe it's just Sinestro and a couple of the Green Lanterns. They'll fight the other Yellow Lanterns that were from that alternate dimension. So Sinestro is just such a side character that I'm like... I get that you're writing a different story, but come on. It's like, you still should use this character.
Well, to his point, if they're doing the same exact story twice for two different books, then why the fuck not?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, yeah, is that also, too, in the first one, yes. I mean, it's just Sinestro's barely a character in any of it.
mm-hmm. It's like, in a way, I like their take on the little you get of Sinestro, because... Really, I do like the idea of all that Sinestro really cares about and why he wants all this power is just to protect his people. I always like, quote-unquote, villains like that. That's why I honestly love Zod's portrayal in Man of Steel so much. Like, all he cares about and all he was bred to do, genetically made to do, was to preserve his people and protect Krypton.
Mm-hmm.
That's his sole purpose. That's kind of like Sinestro. He's like,
Depth.
all I care about is...
Depth.
Yeah, all I care about is the betterment of my people.
Yeah, I like a villain with depth and purpose.
But like you said, it's just such a sidebar it gets lost. It doesn't really matter.
I just don't like that they. I don't know. His character entirely. That's just kind of it. Is that? Yeah.
6.
Oh, review rating.
He just 6.
6. It deserves a rookie score.
Yeah, it does. I'll echo a 6 with you on it.
Oh, this is gonna be a tough day for reviews, then, boys.
It might be.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is gonna
Especially
be
one sucker that's coming up later.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, fucking yikes.
Okay, so what else do we have to review?
Got My Adventures of Superman
Secret
and
Invasion
Harley Quinn.
and Harley Quinn. Just so 3 shows.
Mhm.
3 shows to review.
Yes.
All right. What do you want to start with?
Well, you guys might as well keep this train going because I don't know anything about Harley Quinn, and I need to have a little bit on Superman, Adventures of Superman, that I didn't catch because I was cooking all day. But
Okay, so Harley Quinn.
yeah, go
They
ahead.
dropped 3 episodes. Fucking.
That's weird.
That's what he and I said. It is weird, but goddamn, they're funny. I mean, man, I'm gonna even I think rewatch them because it's very different. But the first one is outrageous.
My boy.
Yeah.
And his
Yeah.
new upgraded gates.
So, do you remember how we brought up the writers or someone joked about how like he'll have a big ass in this show?
Oh yeah.
Well,
that's right.
That leads into our first episode.
Oh boy.
His ass is something to be had, apparently, from Professor Pig. And there's just... God, I don't really want to spoil it because you haven't seen it, but it's just so fucking funny that basically there's one of the villains is going around taking specific surgical parts out of, like, models.
Oh, okay.
But, like, it's
Okay.
in the... What is it, the Gotham Hot 100 or something?
Oh yeah,
Whatever
that
it
magazine is. Yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot about
because
that.
like the beginning of the episode, like it's Harley and this guy are at a magazine stand, and he says something like fucking super creepy about one model, and it's hilarious that later Nightwing's in the magazine, and it's like to showcase that he's got a huge fucking dump truck, and so the professor like kidnaps him to surgically cut his ass out and put it on this like fucking Bride of Frankenstein he's building, and he's
what
on the
the
table.
fuck?
Dude, he's like
so awesome.
He's like on the table. He goes, all right, I admit it. I love my ass. Save me. And Harley's like, I knew it. I knew it.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh, dude, it's great.
The timing of them bringing up the whole thing about the writers or demanding that his ass be more pronounced on screen, and that
Right.
is
That's
perfect.
all I could think was
Perfect.
like that. And then, there's another absolutely ridiculous part in the episode. But just the fact that the episode then revolved around his ass, I was like, oh, that's why they brought it up on Twitter.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry. X gonna give it to you. Yeah.
Fucking Degeneration X.
Yeah. And then episode 2 is got Talia becomes a character now in play. And she basically tells the Bat family that she's in charge of finances because Bruce is in the insane asylum, or he's at Arkham.
He's in Blackgate.
Or he's in Blackgate. My bad.
Because that's a plot point in episode 3.
That-
he's not it.
Dude, yes. So he's at Blackgate. So Talia goes to visits them. She basically tells them they're all in charge, or she's in charge, and then she's like, some of you might be going, like, gives Alfred a look, like, you're gonna not be around, dude.
Jesus.
Yeah. Then Talia later she helps Ivy with something because Ivy just basically, they're making fun of like corporate America and how it's all dude ran, and Ivy's the woman CEO, and all the guys are like, fuck you, I ain't listening to no woman. And Oh yeah, dude, it's bad.
That's fucking funny.
You got one villain. Another small spoiler. There's a villain. I don't even know who the villain is. You might know him, but the he's constantly doing cocaine. like he just dumps it out, and he's like, and then he like starts glowing like Goku and shit, like he's powered up, and it's yeah. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there like watching. I'm like, who the fuck is this character? And
dude, a funny ass fucking story about Harley Quinn, the series, just by itself, because all these little girls and little kids want to dress up as Harley Quinn.
Yeah, they can't watch the show. No.
Well, that's the funny part is I have, let's just say, somebody in my family decided to turn it on and give it a go to see if it was okay for my daughter to watch.
No.
They found out so fast.
I was like, it couldn't have taken long on that first boat scene.
I was going to say, that first boat, like I said, I showed it to my friends, and even my one friend, just like that first boat scene, he said exactly what I said when I very first watched it. He out loud goes, "What the fuck is this show?"
And exactly what I said.
Yeah. He said, yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, I was gagging laughing. I'm like, no. I was like, this is fully adult cartoon.
Yeah, that is fucking funny.
Yeah, she gave it a shot.
Yeah, she could probably watch. Oh no, she can't watch this.
Yeah, I found that out. I found that out really quick.
Yeah,
I was like, they dropped an F-bomb about every 8 seconds for a while there. I'm like, yep. That'll do it.
I do like how the show is like, it is like kind of like feminist in a way, but it also like pokes fun at feminism at the same time. Like when she gets the
writing's genius for the show.
Like when she gets that invitation to go to that women leader, or I can't remember what.
Yeah, so with Talia, right?
Yeah, with
Talia.
Okay,
yeah.
She gets this like house that has a glass ceiling on it, and it says "break the glass ceiling" or something on it. She's like, haven't we been past this since like the 80s or something like that? She just like breaks it.
Dude, yeah. I like how they play this, because there's a certain aspect of the woke culture in it, but at the same exact time they make fun of it.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
It's very South Park in that way.
Yeah.
While it's like it does a very good job at like trying to teach you a lesson about maybe seeing the other side of a same coin while also poking fun at that coin.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that type of stuff.
Yeah,
because there's always something funny about it, no matter what.
And the other part too is how well they integrate that comedy style like into these DC characters, and they still also find ways to like shit on all other like DC stories or like the movies, other shows, whatever. Like, so it's genius writing, in my opinion. Dude, so Ivy does this whole thing. Eventually, she just fights the Legion of Doom, like the head honchos of the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
And like the way they fucking just make Metallo look like he's just a literal robot. He's just like, oh, I cannot fight. Oh man, I'm malfunctioning or something. I was just dying laughing about how they just made Metallo just a straight up robot. And then is it Humanite that's at the other end of the table? Or is that Grodd? That's the problem. They got two freaking smart monkeys.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Gorillas. There's Gorilla Grodd, literally,
Yeah,
and then you have Humanite. They're both gorillas that are just like big brain, and it's like, I always.
And Grodd's in a lot of shit too.
Sometimes I get them confused, but I don't know. She fights them all, and I don't know. It's pretty good. But the other part of episode 2 that's just so funny is be a bitch.
My favorite part was when she was like,
and when you watch it, you'll know what that means. And the character, oh my god.
Dude, and she's like, I can't remember what she says, but I'm gonna fucking destroy you. And he's just like, I wish a bitch would try.
I just started dying, and he's just like, I wish a bitch would try. And she like tries to fight him, and he's using a mop to. It's Alfred.
I forgot.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sprays her like a cat, dude. I wish a bitch would try. Goes,
and he sprays like a cat, and she goes, ah, fuck.
That's fucking funny.
Dude,
my other favorite moment, and it's so stupid and corny, but I popped so hard for it, was at the very end when, so her and Alfred become best friends in this episode or whatever, and then eventually Alfred, as he alluded to, knows he's kind of probably going to get fired or whatever by Talia. So he ends up like befriending her. They go on these little errands together, and all of a sudden they stop at a bank, and he goes in there, and all of a sudden she catches another like getaway driver type thing, and then some dude runs out like after stealing and goes away, and she's like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
be a bitch."
She goes, "Be a bitch," and she's like reflecting what he's taught her, and like he like takes her, has her drive the Batmobile, and he's telling her like how to drive it, and he's like go 60. And then, like, run that red light. And he's like, no, you can break the rules and shit like that. And she pieces it together. She goes, that smart bastard. I'm his getaway driver.
That's fucking funny.
So then she goes in there and, learns her lesson. Oh, so the very beginning. So for episode 1 ends with her beating the absolute shit out of Professor Pig and
kills him.
So this episode starts off with we don't kill you, Harley, and it shows all the different things in the cave. So she's basically suspended and is on cleaning duty with Alfred this whole episode until she learns how to be a good hero.
Jesus.
So at the very end, when she was with Alfred, she stops him and like peacefully and just wraps him up. So then the Bat family shows up and they're like, "Oh, you learned your lesson." And it's like, so here's my favorite part is when they pull out her new Bat costume. Damien just comes in and goes, "Snitches get stitches."
no, he says bitches get stitches. So like, cause they're making fun of the whole be a bitch thing.
Yeah.
Oh, my closed captioning said snitches get.
I swear I heard it. He said, "Yeah, bitches get stitches," and I was like, "What?" Maybe he did. He probably did say snitches, since she technically is ratting him out. But yeah. So then it caps off with Alfred's like being taken away, and he's like, "I can be with my young master Bruce," and they drop him off, and he's like, "Wait, this isn't Blackgate," and one of the other guy goes, "No, you idiot!" Like. He's only the criminally insane go to Blackgate. He's like,
no.
We get or something
he says only people with a stock portfolio go to Blackgate.
That's what it was. Oh my god, that's right.
That's amazing.
Oh shit! I only watched this a few hours ago. You'd think I would have remembered, but yeah. Only people with a stock portfolio goes to Blackgate. And he goes, "No, we're at
New Arkham."
He goes, "We get to go to Arkham," and he goes, "Oh no!" And the episode just cuts off and ends.
Oh my god.
Then episode 3 is basically centered around Harley and Ivy are like trying to basically keep the magic alive in their relationship, but they can't talk about work-related things. But then Harley basically goes on a vacation with Ivy to this whole like villains
retreat type thing
in Vegas, and it's yeah,
of course, no less.
City of Sin.
And like Clayface is having some sort of show.
Yeah.
He's
apparently become like a big time attraction as far as his like
yeah.
acting and everything. So he has like a show at this venue.
He's doing a what was the fucking word that they used? The thing that he does at Vegas. I can't remember it.
It's probably impersonations.
Was it? Did they say it was specifically he does impersonations?
I can't remember what they said his specific show would be. I just took it as like an acting show because he wants to be an actor.
Oh man!
Surprised he's not still running the coattails of the Billy Bob Thornton thing.
Right.
But yeah, they get there and they're trying to get tickets.
To get the tickets.
Even though Clayface has sent her, according to him,
Ivy.
a baker's dozen
Yeah.
emails about getting tickets.
Yeah. But Ivy ignored them all. And then now they go there to relax, be at this resort for this evil thing. And then they're trying to like last minute get tickets.
And it's all sold out.
It's all sold out. But the funny part is like Ivy says to Harley, like, well, think about Bruce, right? Oh, because Harley goes somewhere to like separately blow off steam, and it's like this club thing, and it's like, what the fuck is the name? And it's like DJ, like
I can't remember what his name. I didn't hear what his name was.
DJ whatever, and the guy turns, and she just goes, "It's fucking Bruce!" And like,
you see Bruce the headband?
Yeah, he's like doing this, and he's got a hat on, and he's dressed in total like club photos, and like he's like doing this or something in this giant screen, and she goes, "That motherfucker!" And then so she goes into a bathroom, and then her other Dr. Harleen Quinzel persona starts talking to her, and just like, well, think about it. He's two separate people, right? And he's Batman and he's Bruce Wayne. And she's just like, oh my God, yes. I just need an alternate persona. Because she just goes, fuck, everyone knows who I am. Like, and she's like, you got to have an alternate persona. And then like, what she says? Does that mean I get to come out? And she goes, no, and like walks away. Whoops. Out of the bathroom. Wait, don't leave me in the mirrors. So then I can't remember what the hell she calls herself. All she does is put on a fucking pink wig.
Pink wig, yeah.
And then no one can recognize that it's her. So it's fucking stupid.
Per usual. But
Yeah.
Superman.
Exactly.
Change from the suit to an actual suit. Everyone just forgets who you are. Always.
So then I can't remember what her new nickname is. But yeah, she just wreaks havoc
It's
and
like
goes
Har
back to her more.
something. It's like, that's the other thing. The name's not even far off from
No.
Harley. It's
Of course.
stupid.
Of course.
Yeah, she just
But then,
creates havoc.
yeah, she creates havoc. Her evil side comes back out. God.
Oh, the line where I can't remember. I think it was a little bit prior, but the line where they were talking about what they wanted to do, and she was like, "Oh, we can go do this and get some LBs, M&Ms, or whatever."
Yeah.
And she was like, Ivy just looks at her and goes, "Should I call in for the tarp?" I was like,
Yeah.
"That's fucking funny."
Yeah. Another part about this episode is that, so the thing too about like the first 3 episodes, they had like their whole gang, but now their gang is split up. But they're at this evil resort, and King Shark is there with his wife, and she's like the
Oh,
worst
yeah.
fucking thing ever. And she's pregnant with like 9 of their shark kids, and she's like, they say, like, King Shark's like, yeah, we came here to take a sabbatical, and also, like, he says her name, which I can't remember off the top of my head. He goes, oh, Tabitha is her name, and he's just like, and she would like to have sex with the magician and stuff like that, like making fun of the whole, like, Vegas, like, don't go to Vegas, a magician will fuck your wife type thing, and, so they make fun of that, and, like, she starts smoking while she's just fucking pregnant, and barks orders at King Shark constantly, and he's all, like, worried that she won't really allow him to be a dad, and so she requests, like, this, it's like this special dish from her homeworld, and it's just a chum bucket. But dude, when one part of it,
Called it goulash.
it's like, yeah, called it goulash.
That's amazing.
But it's basically a chum bucket.
It's basically a chum bucket. He's like crossing off, like, the first item on the list says white rhinoceros dick, and he's like, he like talks to this pool boy, and he's like, I heard you can get exotic animal parts, and he goes, yeah, but it's gonna cost you. And he's like, he's in the bottom of the pool cleaning up condoms. He goes, oh my god, this is a hotel. Why aren't people just having sex in their rooms? And then at the end,
Dude,
mermaids.
such a good payoff to a joke.
I fucking lost it at this part. It says Mermaid's Tale, and there are mermaids there at the thing. And he walks up to one, and he goes, hi, miss. And he goes, in the next frame, he's stabbing her with a knife. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I lost my shit, dude. It's the first moment in the whole first 3 episodes that I actually just died laughing out loud. And, like, I'm sorry to spoil it, but it's so funny. And then he just feeds her the bucket of chum, and she's, like, in a dingy fucking magician show, and
So this magician this whole time has been asking people, is this your card?
Is this your
card? Has failed every single time. This is one of my favorite payoffs to like long running joke.
She goes, is this your card? She just says from the crowd, he goes, no. And then he goes, no. He goes, oh shit. And then like you hear her she just goes, take your clothes off, or like something just so degenerate and like
Take your clothes
yeah,
off.
something ridiculous.
God. I'm just gonna skip all the old shit and just jump to the new fucking.
Oh, you
season.
shouldn't, dude. All of it is so fucking funny.
I will say some episodes for me have been a miss, but
I mean, yeah, not every episode is great, but the thing about this show too is that like you do kind of gotta watch it and learn to appreciate the characters. Because like Clayface in this 3rd episode, he comes in and he's like full blown Elton John diva now. And even that, I was like laughing at it, but I also sat there and thought like this would probably not be that funny if you didn't watch the show in its entirety. It's like The Office. You have to learn who these characters are.
Because Clayface is known as like the fucking absolute loser.
Yeah.
And
So now, like in season 4, he's this big time fucking actor now, which is what he's
Yeah.
wanted the whole time.
Well,
He
I like
shows
I
up-
saw him as acting as that college girl that was dating the boy or whatever. I can't remember. Dude, that shit was fucking hilarious too when he was swooning over that guy.
Dude, when he shows up, that chick just, I fucking love you, Clayface.
But the end, I love when jokes get paid off like this. So after she gets the chum bucket, her water like breaks immediately.
Oh shit! I
But so
forgot
she
about
just
that.
walks up on stage and like wants to be a part of the act while she's going into labor. So this magician now has to deliver this shark's babies, all 9 of them. So they come spewing out or whatever. The last one comes out, it's not breathing. So he's like, oh, the magician's got it, and he's like, doing CPR or whatever, and it spits up a card. And as soon as it spits up a card, I was like, oh my fucking god. He turns around, is this your card? And she's like, yes, oh my god. I was like, oh, I love
That's
it.
fucking gold.
That's fucking hilarious.
What a payoff.
That's beautiful.
Dude,
That's
it is.
beautifully done.
And then Harley and Ivy are now the
Yeah,
godparents of those ugly ass shark babies.
yeah. Show's interesting with their relationship because it's just like they basically are like Ivy's in charge of the Legion of Doom now, and Harley's a part of the Bat family.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. Like, even in this episode, too, like, the guy that does all the cocaine, he's like, the old Harley would have just let me drown, because she throws him in a pool, and she then gets him out and, like, lets him sit there, and goes, he's, like, choking, he's like, the old Harley would have let me drown and die. And he's like, I think that's when she loses it, and she's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And, like, that's when she finds out about Bruce, that he's not actually at Blackgate. He's off being a fucking DJ in Vegas. Like,
That's fucking funny.
yeah,
So overall, I'd say a pretty good start to the
the
season.
good start.
It's about what I expected.
Like, I know what you mean on, like, some of them, it's like, man, this feels like a miss. And even the second episode, I was kind of like, okay, like...
It just drags
But then it-
sometimes, which
but
is what
then it-
makes me not continue to just power through and watch. You know what I mean?
Oh, you should, though. It's just so funny.
I've been doing my best, but every once in a while it just kind of like bottoms out and drags, and then it just gets fucking great. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I watch it for a little bit more, and then it'll start to go down. I'm like, let me take a break, then I'll go do something else, and then it'll be a week before I watch it again. I'm like, God damn it!
God damn it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
My Adventures,
My Adventures.
episode
5.
5. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I made it about halfway through. So
Yeah.
I mean, Lois basically has put it together, and she's trying to trap him. I liked how she's like, like, she's talking to Clark, and she's like, yeah, like, the 3 of us, you, me, and Superman, all sitting down, talking to each other at the same time.
Yeah.
I, like, chuckled at that. I was like, all right, I like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I like when she's interrogating him, and she's like, how about talking about how many bagels he gets? He's always running to get a fucking bagel. He's
Mhm.
gone for 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, she's pretty much got it.
And then,
I like when they start the scanner and he hears something. He's like, oh, yeah, something about a bagel, runs out, and then he comes right back because it's solved, and another one comes up on the screen. Oh, I forgot about the cream cheese.
yeah, he comes back and he's like, oh, that was so good. That hit the spot. And then he goes, oh, cream cheese. Like, it's like,
She said one time, and half the time he doesn't come back with a bagel. I'm like, that's pretty.
she says, he's gone for like 20 minutes, and half the time he doesn't come back with a bagel at all. And it's, I feel bad for Jimmy because he's like the third wheel.
And he's trying to go squatch hunting.
Squatch
Squatch hunting.
Yeah. And then there's the troll that's trolling all his videos. And then
Nah.
Funny.
nah.
Yeah.
And then it ends up,
Every video he posts.
every
Nah.
video he posts. So then Steve like wants to takes him on assignment. And then when they're filming, he just nah, and he goes, "Wait a minute, you're."
That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, because I got that to scan for the tech parts. So Superman eventually, well, after saving a bunch of people in various situations, gets word of a warehouse or
Mhm.
such that has them. Shows up there. It's got the, oh man, why am I blanking on their name? Whatever, that group, Intergang. fights them. The last one, which is they're calling Heat Wave, which is
that was supposed to be Heat Wave.
apparently.
Huh.
Like, there's some adaptation things. So is it normally my
Well,
Heat
I
Wave?
mean,
No, but,
Hey,
but
the character that shows up next, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I see it now. After you told me who he was, I was like, oh, yeah, I see it now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the Heat Wave basically says like, why are you kidnapping us or whatever? And Superman's like, what? I didn't kidnap you. Oh, and also Lois has handcuffed herself to him as well. He gets away. Superman flies off with Lois, leaves her on top of the Daily Planet, right, or some building. Doesn't want her to get hurt. Easily breaks the handcuffs. Just like, could have done that the whole time.
So he's always doing that.
And then flies off to fight or find Heatwave again. When he gets there, Slade, aka Deathstroke, is there, and basically we find out that he's working with Amanda Waller. Well, we found that out last episode. Working with Amanda Waller and the General Lane, I think.
I was gonna say, I wonder if I think that general is supposed to be Lois's dad.
I think so as well, but I don't think I never heard an actual full name. They
No,
just
I
call
don't
him
think
the General.
Yeah, I
but
don't think they've said it. But
pretty sure
I
it's
would
going to be General Lane.
Yeah, I would assume that's where it's going.
So we find out that they're working in cahoots with Slade, and they're trying to get all these tech parts back. Slade's decked out in sweet ass armor. So we find out Slade's the one, not Superman, obviously, that's trying to capture all of these people, the inner gang people with all these tech parts, which depending on what their adaptation could be, it could be from Darkseid's world, Apocalypse, because that's usually what inner gang weapons are. They have weapons from Apocalypse. So, there's a little kibosh, they fight a little bit. Well, Superman shows up, Slade gets backup from them, so two big-ass robots show up, and Superman has to fight the two robots and Slade at the same time. Superman kind of gets his ass beat.
Yeah.
Eventually, the Slade or one of the robots, broke the foundation to, a bridge.
Well, so they basically... the robot punched Superman against it and it cracked it.
That was it.
And then when Superman realizes it, he defeats the second robot that's fighting him, but then Slade comes after him. And then Slade has his swords are like straight up Metal Gear Solid 2 sword where it's charged up like the Raiden sword and he just can slice through anything.
Hell yeah.
Anime. It's anime as fuck. So
I fucking love every second of it.
Yeah, so then he cuts through the cracked column for this bridge. So then Superman's like, okay, I gotta save these people.
I do like how there was the little moment of with Superman, there's a moment of panic when that happens where he's like, no. And then he immediately as after just goes, no. He just gets pissed and he's like,
yeah, he punches Slade.
You're not hurting anybody else.
Yeah, he punches Slade way far away. And but Slade's wearing this suit that
this massive Power Ranger exo suit.
Yeah.
Power Ranger in the best way.
Hell yeah.
Not the shitty TV budget way.
Yeah.
So Superman is trying to hold up this
course.
bridge and Slade tries to go after him, but then the General pops back in.
Yeah, Waller's telling Slade to go after him, but the General says, no, not at the cost of civilians. And Waller's like, what does she say? Something about
you're willing to basically potentially allow what do they call it? A 0-day event again?
They call it the net
at the expense of losing a handful of lives.
Yeah, the net 0 day is what she says. She's like, you're willing to allow net 0 day to happen for a handful of children's or civilians' lives, compared to billions of people, and he's like, I'm the one in charge here, and we're not gonna do this while taking civilian lives. And he tells Slade, he's like, stand down. So then Slade's bounces out,
and then Superman heat visions the bridge. We won't get into the science about that and how quickly that concrete cooled off and was strong again, or we won't get into any of that shit. But hey, it's an anime cartoon. We embrace those things. It's fun. He goes back to Lois on top of the building, who's still standing there, and
As
Oh,
Clark.
as Clark, yes,
he's
where he's
beat
got
the
all,
fuck
yeah,
up.
beat the shit. Okay, yeah, because Slade also put like both the swords on his neck, which like burned into his skin. So he's
Yeah.
got 2 slashes on his neck right here, and then he's got like the classic like tic tac toe
Hell
Yeah.
mark on his cheek.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck happened to you? Blah 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 blah. And she's like slowly backing up, and like basically trying to get it out of him to admit that he's Superman. And then she's like, fine, we'll just do this the hard way. And then she just jumps off the building.
Yeah.
And then he, of course, flies and catches her. And I love how she was just like, I knew it!
I knew it! She's like, beats a beating on his chest, like bickering. Like, she's like, how dare you and how could you? And you lied to me. And I love it. She's like, you lied to me. And he just goes, no, I just didn't tell you the entire truth.
From a certain point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And then basically, their relationship now goes into a tiff because she's upset that he never told her, and he's like, "Well, I have to keep my identity a secret, and so people don't know who I am." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, he was basically like, you acted like you hated Superman. You called him a liar, and you wanted to expose all of his secrets. He's like, I can't have all my secrets getting exposed. And she was like, well, if I had known it was, she was like, do you really think I would have done that to you had I known it was you?
And I think he says something along the lines of like, I don't know. He's like, you just jumped off of a building or something.
And you didn't know for fucking sure.
He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. He said, I think he says that or something along.
Something.
Those
He's
lines.
like, I don't ever know what to expect from you. You just jumped off a building or something like that.
Yeah, it's something along
Something
that
along
line.
those
He
lines.
says, I don't know what to expect from you. He's like, you jumped off of a building, and she basically says, like, whatever we were going to be, and she's like, that's gone now or something, and he's like, oh, and upset about it too. So their relationship has now hit a tiff. But then we go back to poor old Jimmy. It's the third wheel.
He was so excited
He
to
went
go
and
squanch
squanch hunt on himself. He found not a squanch.
A gorilla.
He found a gorilla.
Gorilla.
And hey, you remember those 2 villains I brought? Yeah. Yeah, once I saw it, I was like, oh, putting him in this. Okay. It's for sure Gorilla Grodd. I mean,
They use him a lot.
oh, yeah.
He's always somewhere doing something.
Yeah.
You can always sue somebody.
But no, just this episode was pretty. I just liked this episode a lot.
But yeah, I've been really enjoying this show. I will say, me personally, I'm very, very much over the superhero story of, and it's usually done, I feel like, with Clark and Lois a lot too. It's just like, oh, will they, won't they? Like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't tell him in time, so now there's going to be this rift for a while, so we got to wait for them to just eventually get back together again, because that's where we know this is going. And I just get a little tired of that story of just like purposely trying to like put a wedge into like a couple to just delay the inevitable. It just gets a little. I mean, we went through. Let's go watch a CW superhero show. It happens in every single goddamn one of them. I'm just a little over that storyline, but whatever. Hopefully they wrap it up quick. They had. I was worried about Lois not figuring it out in time. She pretty much right to the point where I maybe would have got a little annoyed with it. Figured it out. So maybe they won't drag this along. Maybe they'll figure out a way to just kind of kibosh the whole thing next episode, and we can just kind of move on. But they probably won't.
Probably not.
It's because it's a reoccurring theme, it seems, through a lot of superhero shows.
Yep.
Indeed.
I just care about Jimmy, man.
Yeah, dude. My boy Jimmy. He's on the outs.
Should just listen to the Nah guy. Nah.
Nah.
Because that's another part of this episode is like Steve was trying to tell him, like, he's like, you are just like me. And he was like calling him out that he's like, you will eventually be like the third wheel that's forgotten about, because he was telling him how, like, when I was your age, like, I had the same thing. It was like a gang of 3 of us. He goes, then the other 2, like, I don't know if he said, like, the other 2, like, fell in love or whatever, but he's basically alluded to, like, how they forgot about me. And he's just trying to be his mentor and a friend, and just Jimmy was like, no, that's not going to happen to me.
You went squatching by yourself.
Nah, son. I want to rate this one.
Give this one a solid 8 out of 10 for me. So, I really liked this one.
7-6.
I'll double down next week when I fill in all the parts I missed.
Really enjoying the show. I kind of. Do you know how many episodes there is? I've been meaning to look that up, and I always keep forgetting. I'll look it up right now.
Google search away. I got you.
I would imagine like 12.
I hope not. I hope it's old school and like 20. Yeah, I really enjoy this show. And once again, to the people that do not like Man of Steel, he doesn't smile enough. He doesn't shave enough kittens. This one's right up your alley. Definitely the very old school, bright Boy Scout. But for me, I guess what keeps going on, it isn't keeping me from, I guess, getting bored. Because sometimes that can be a little boring, is the anime adaptation. I kind of like the inspirations they're taking and then adapting it around the Superman mythos. It'll be really interesting to see how they're eventually going to. I mean, I feel like we kind of already have an idea of how they're eventually going to explain this like massive, probably boom of metahumans and everything. It probably will have to do with that technology of some sort integrating into the people.
6.
Nah,
That's what it just said on here. So
there's 6. There's 6 out, or no, 5.
There's 5 out.
There's only 6. No.
I'm scrolling down and I keep scrolling and I couldn't find anything definitive. Yeah, it says My Adventures Superman premiered on Friday, July 7th. There will be 6 episodes in total, and the first 2 were shown together as part of the premiere, meaning that the series will run with 4 more episodes until August 4th, 2023.
What the fuck?
Lame.
That is fucking lame. That's depressing.
Lame. Lame.
That just that threw me for a loop. I was thinking that this one felt like it was going to be one of those 20, 18, 12.
Say honestly, that's kind of what I felt like. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised with 12, but I was honestly the way it felt, I was thinking like an old cartoon series where it was anywhere from 18 to 22 episodes or something like that. Like,
yeah, that's depressing. That's I don't like that.
does not say like. Oh, there we go.
That sucks.
Really poopy. Wait, what?
Wait.
Shows a 7th one though.
Yeah, I see that. What the?
Unless that's like a bonus hidden episode. We're not super secret that we're not supposed to know about. Doesn't have a plot on it though.
Yeah, or maybe they'll end the season with a 2-episode.
So according to, just so you guys know, according to IMDb, there is of course an episode 6, which is labeled My Adventures with Mad Science, and it actually has a plot detail breakdown. But then they also have a season 1 episode 7 on here that's called Kiss Kiss Fall in Portal.
Do you think that maybe that they're writing more episodes because it was well received?
Could be.
Well, there's a writer strike going on, so
Well, that's right. I keep forgetting
so
about
this
that
would have
shit.
been already in the works. I mean, I don't know. Like Sandman did it. I mean, they had a bonus episode at the end of it all. So I don't know. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe, hopefully, that'd be nice. Or maybe it's just somehow got on here and isn't supposed to and doesn't actually exist. But usually IMDb, at least I know back in the day, this used to be my jam and why I still respect it, because you used to be able to find out shit on IMDb way before sometimes even news outlets would break it just by going through cast lists and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, fuck. That is really depressing to hear. Because I've been really, really enjoying this show.
Yeah, same. I mean, especially too that since it's supposed to be like kind of an anime, I would have figured 12 at minimum.
Right.
And that's probably another reason why I thought there would be more too, is because it's supposed to be a very anime-inspired show. So I would think we would have gotten definitely more than 6.
Especially with 22-minute episodes.
Yeah. So, well, fudge. Damn. Well, hopefully this strike shit gets over soon. So
Right.
Damn it!
I swear.
Damn!
So I guess finally, last and definitely fucking least, Secret Invasion, episode
Oh my God.
6, the finale.
Guys, I just...
What a fucking wet
The
fart.
Fucking-
poo alley.
Dude, this series is the equivalent of, like, single-ply toilet paper. Like, your finger just goes through. It's just fucking so weak.
You're not wrong. This last episode was fucking just I didn't like it.
Garbage.
Yeah.
I mean,
I almost feel like this
They
like
did
the first 2 episodes was a decent, Angel saw,
Yeah.
and then ever since it was like, sorry, you ran out, so we just got gas station toilet paper now. Here you go.
Yeah.
Bud.
Supposed to.
Good luck to your asshole.
This is Marvel. We're supposed to be using Charmin. God damn. Anyways,
bad.
they did exactly what I said last week. I was like, well, I hope it's not this. No. Wrote it off on why we didn't find you a planet. Oh, God, we just fucked up. We couldn't find you one. I knew it'd be terrible. I just remember sitting there on my couch like, cool.
Yeah.
There's your awesome writing.
Yeah, he thought that the storyline could carry this shit.
Yeah,
Wrong.
That he
Wrong.
very much nitpicks and like it's so on the nose for this because it's like that's it. Yep, just couldn't find your planet. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, my bad.
My bad, bro.
My bad. We
Sorry.
good? We good?
Sorry, dude. I felt responsible for you because you're my best warrior. That's the only reason I even came back down here. Like, I was like, this fucking sucks. It's like, come on, anything else? Like, I don't know what I wanted. I don't, but I know I didn't want that lame shit.
Yeah, it seems like they were just trying to like find any excuse not to write something with any substance. Like, it just seemed like they were going out of their way at times just to just kind of push the story along and not build anything outside of it. I mean, only thing this set up for was that lady in SIS that we like is going to be with fucking Gaia, who isn't the new Talos, I guess. Talos.
No, she's the new
She's
supreme leader of the whole galaxy.
no,
man.
well,
she's
right, but
Captain Every Power.
Well, right, but she's working with the humans in order to fucking make this shit happen, and yes, that's exactly what it is. And I said, how
referencing a shit movie.
and what I said was, anything moving forward, how the fuck is that gonna work?
I had a feeling that even that too, like when they're both in the sphere and he just turns it on because he's like, oh, this doesn't work for humans. It'll work for me, and I'm about to fuck him up. And like when he caught the fist, I knew. I was like, oh, so they're gonna go that route where, because I think it's happened in the comics where Fury, at least I'll say this. Playing the video game Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, the very end boss is Nick Fury, and he's got superpowers because of, like, nanotech or some shit. I can't remember exactly how the plot goes. But that's how the plot goes, is the very final boss is Nick Fury. So I was like, oh, they're going to go that route, but then it ends up being Gaia that I was like, oh, okay. Like, weird. Especially, too, because they wanted to sell you on it so bad that it was really supposed to be Fury, that when he's walking around in the radiation area, which you probably could have just forgotten about, like, I literally, like, that he's stumbling around, like, coughing to sell it, even though no one's around, I was like,
taking
okay.
the pills.
Yeah, taking the pills, and then it's Gaia the whole time. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know. I'm not nitpicking that. I'm just saying, like, all right, cool. You kind of got me. Because I'll admit, as the SIS woman was the guards, the U.S. agents are going down one by one. I'm like, well, who's doing this?
Right.
And I won't lie. I kind of thought for a minute it was going to be like the Wasp or something. Because they're just dropping. I was like, is she going to just come up and like...
Nah,
No, you're not getting that.
we can't get the actual Avengers. We just got to put all of the Avengers into one new character now.
Well, and two, like, you know, what I love too is that maybe I'm probably taking it too literally, but I thought the vial was just a collection of the blood that was spilled at the battle for Earth, but apparently it wasn't. It's just a vial that contains a shit ton of DNA.
Yeah.
Because, and I kind of had to research this because I couldn't even remember, and I feel horrible saying that, especially as our MCU guy. But like when she was phasing, I was like, who the fuck's power is that? And I fucking completely forgot about Ghost from the second Ant-Man movie. Which, not saying that movie's bad. I just kind of like the Ant-Man movies are not bad, but I mean,
They're definitely not a focal point in the Marvel universe, like,
No.
by any means.
and even though that
usually-
third one was supposed to be,
It was,
I don't know.
It was good, but it wasn't
Eh.
what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I also don't know how I feel about how, like, apparently also in that vial was the Ebony Maw's blood, because that's why he was able to do the shit that you thought was, that if you sitting there, you're probably like, oh, what the fuck? He's got Doctor Strange powers, but no, it's the Maw from Thanos' side. They just apparently took his blood too.
Also got Thanos' power too.
Oh, so you just got everything.
What was he did?
Gravik even pulls it out at one point. If you look at one of his arms, it's a big purple arm because it's Thanos, and Thanos' name also pops up on the screen.
I probably just glossed over. I missed that.
There's like so many like heroes in there.
I was gonna say
It's on
they
Drax's arm.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
like
they
Drax
they
is in
inflate their
there.
arms to, like, obviously he does the Hulk, or she does the Hulk first, and
Yep.
then, like, yeah, they do Drax and Korg, and like they do so many, and
Abomination.
And I'm like, I just
Groot,
can't stand.
Groot. Yeah, they did so many big ass, like, beefcake arms. I was like,
Captain
I
Marvel.
was sitting there losing track. When the Captain Marvel powers came out, I was like,
Yeah.
cool, I guess. I don't know.
I don't, dude. I just.
I fucking hate this.
Honestly,
episode.
when the Captain Marvel powers came out, I just sat there. I was like, well, why did you even fucking care to use anyone else?
That's what I'm saying.
Literally, that's the Superman power.
Yeah.
Just use that power.
Yeah. Just be that person.
Which was, which I will say, sick as fuck when she held him up and cosmic blasted him through his whole heart like a Kamehameha blast. I was just like, all right, that was deliver.
Oh, well,
that
dude-
was delivery. Hell yeah.
Well, dude, Fury's fucking blatant, straight on headshot. I like that. When he's dong, I was like, hell yeah! I was like,
Yeah.
Where the fuck are the rest? At the rest of the episode.
Right.
But yeah, dull.
I had such
And-
high hopes for this series
Just
going
don't.
into
And I'm
it.
sorry, nationalistic bias here. But I don't really like that the President of the United States was just like, we know who you are, and we're going to kill you. I'm just like,
That's some one-term president shit.
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, that's a really weird way to, like, get this rando out of the MCU just so it
They've done
works for Captain America later.
If they did a good job of anything in this series, it's to prove that whatever president this is a fucking absolute idiot. And that's why Ross is going to come in.
I was
Pretty
going to
soon.
say, like, that's the whole, I guess, point of it, is that this has caused him to look like a jackass, because
Even
that's,
the roadie scene did that.
well, and that's what Fury,
Oh, I forgot that we have to talk about that fucking shit.
God.
yeah, that's actually the most important part. Well, not important, but interesting.
I'm curious to see. Yeah, go ahead.
No, all I was going to say is that, like, Fury said to him, he's like, yeah, one-term president. He's like, now you've got crazy people out there that, yeah, they might be killing, like, Skrulls that are in disguise. He goes, but they're also killing human beings, too. And it shows how, like, yeah, they got one. They got Shooter McGavin, popped him off, and, yeah, he's all green and a Skrull. But then the next is, like, this one chick at a podium, and, oh, well, it's red blood, so that was really her.
And she
Good-
didn't turn, just laid
yeah,
there.
yeah, good job, so, yes, like you said, it's a shit writing element to basically insert Ross as the president for Captain America 4. A whole new world.
Brave New World.
Oh,
Brave. So brave.
Whatever.
So brave.
So brave.
Fucking Aladdin. I think Aladdin.
A whole new world.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, guys. Just question myself sometimes in my own references. Okay, so Rhodey. Yeah, so she gets him off the thing.
I can't wait for them to fucking explain this shit.
I mean, Jay, it might seriously be with what everyone's saying, and I'll be honest, I didn't even notice it. It didn't even click in my head. Someone else, I see it pointed out online, but yeah, he was in a nightgown. So people are like, so he's actually been, the Skrull has actually been him since he fell out of the sky in Civil War. For all this time.
I would love for them to come out and confirm that, because plot hole central in that case.
Yeah.
Because Rhodey definitively bleeds red in either Infinity or Endgame. So can't wait for them to go back on Disney Plus and CGI that to fucking purple.
Well, and they
or
probably
just-
will.
Oh, they
Or
will.
just completely remove that scene where he bleeds.
Well, you kind of.
You'd have to, because I mean, here's the thing: even if it was purple, who's bleeding purple? Like, are they just letting it go?
Plus, it was also like in the middle of a scene where like shit's popping off,
It would be in.
and
it would
Rhodey
be
is
in
literally like
Endgame.
crawling on the
I was
battlefield
gonna
because he
say-
can't walk.
Right.
So if you're a Skrull, are you really that committed to the bit when the whole world's kind of ending around you? Wouldn't you
Right.
just get up?
Right.
Plus, he's bleeding red. So
Right.
they're kind of hammered home the fact that that's actually Rhodey.
Yeah.
So if he's wearing a nightgown or a hospital gown, because the last time he actually was Rhodey was because of Civil War after he crashed, that doesn't make any goddamn sense
Well,
because he was still here in Infinity and Endgame.
Well, and here's the thing too. They usually take care of each other after they fight and shit. You know, and he comes up and he's just fucking bleeding purple. Everybody's gonna kind of have a little bit of a question to ask him in that moment. So, I don't know.
The thing is, the only thing that would make sense, and the other theory that I've seen out there is that he has been Skrull Rhodey since Falcon or
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
the TV show.
That would make
Because
sense.
I guess in Infinity and Endgame he seemed to have his exo suit legs to where he can
in
walk.
Infinity War he does.
But then in Falcon and Winter Soldier apparently he does not have that.
Yeah, and I completely missed it too, even when watching that show. So
But it still raises the question of why when they got him, why was he in a nightgown? Was he just going in for some random prep surgery that
he could have been.
Where their cop out is, you know, who knows when? You know, he wears that. He could have worn that in any instance. You know, they'll probably try to explain it away some way.
you're just going in for a physical?
Yeah.
A really intense one.
Scrody McBoogerballs.
Show sucked. This episode gets
Yeah.
a fucking 2.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say overall, I'd give this whole series probably a 4.5.
Oh, the whole series?
The
Man,
whole
this feels
series
bad.
is like that. I don't know. Like
4.5 for the whole series, and the only reason it
Yeah.
gets a 4.5 is because the acting in this show is really, really well done.
Yeah.
Like there are so many great one-on-one character scenes. Really, honestly, the actors carry this fucking show to make it even remotely watchable at all.
Mhm.
Writers, not doing yourselves any favor with this project on trying to get more money. Actors, you did a great job.
Absolutely.
But hey, everybody has a bad day at the office, and this was just one of them for the writers. So they've obviously put out amazing projects. So other writers, obviously, I would assume. But
Gotta do
this
better.
wasn't a good one, boys.
Yeah.
You need to produce more Andors.
Absolutely, they gotta do better on this one. This is
God, I don't know.
Some more WandaVisions.
definitely doesn't get me
You-
excited for future projects, or doesn't keep me. You know, I'm obviously anticipating things, but you know, if this is any kind of way of your introduction in the MCU, you aren't excited for much that's going to happen after this.
No.
Yeah, I will say if he is bleeding in that scene, I don't know. That's really weird.
It'll eventually turn purple on Disney Plus. It's okay.
Right.
It's just your hard copy at home won't.
I was gonna say my hard copy at home will always be the correct one.
Yeah, people don't forget.
Yeah, people don't forget. I will say though, it would explain why if it was Reva or Rava, whatever the fuck the Skrull's name was, it would make sense like why, like when Tony's dead or dying, that he shows a little compassion, but not like in the sense of like, oh, my best friend is dying.
Yeah.
Like that was always kind of weird to me in Endgame, how like he just kind of saw it and was like accepting of it. But you could also say like, well, he's military and he's kind of like
Compartmentalized. that way of thinking.
compartmentalized to like, be able to handle it.
Yeah,
So,
deal with it in a way he can.
yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucking stinker of a series.
Yep.
What a letdown.
Sounds like a
I know.
whole lot
After
of
it was
hoopla.
so hyped too.
A bunch of hoopla.
I was so excited for this series, and God, did it let me down in most ways.
Yeah.
I did like the brutality of, well, It's not like it was super brutal, but the more brutal and normal action that we typically don't get to see from Marvel, I did like that.
Yeah, they didn't lie when they said it was more grounded in that way, but that's pretty much all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, questions going forward. I don't know if I really care to hear the answers. Because, we found Ross down there too, Everett Ross. And
oh, yeah, that's
Rhodey,
right. Because I
so-
wanted to say how, like, he said a few weeks ago that he doesn't know if he's going to be in future projects. And then it ends up being that he was down there.
Yeah.
So they had him captured.
I liked how they had all that. That was kind of cool, though, when they showed that, like back shot of, like, all the different, like, beds of where bodies were.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was like in that underground facility. They didn't dig too much into it, but kind of showed it a little bit.
Well, they had to show it so that way it made sense when the president's on TV and just, we know who you are.
Yeah.
We're going to kill you.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
Like, that was just to merit that statement.
Right.
Oh, man. Here's to hoping that Ahsoka doesn't continue the trend of shitty fucking Disney Plus
Dude,
shows.
You know what?
Don't you even say that.
You know what?
Don't you even say that.
If it fucking tanks, I have no words.
To be fair, Star Wars is the only Well, Marvel's had a couple series that were good. WandaVision was good.
Let's say WandaVision.
Loki was
Loki
pretty
is
good.
good.
Loki's good.
But I feel like Star Wars has had a little bit more highs on their series. You got The Mandalorian, you got Andor.
Yeah, especially since they're
Parts
kinda
of
down back,
Obi-Wan.
too. I liked Obi-Wan. There was
Maybe like 20 minutes of Obi-Wan was cool.
Fuck off.
It definitely had its times that were tough, but the tough times definitely get outweighed by the good times.
Oh, God. Yeah.
For sure. But their structure, I think, was their biggest issue with Obi-Wan. But,
Yeah, it didn't need to be 6 episodes.
well, it needed to be a movie.
It should have just been the movie
should
that
have
they
been a
planned on making.
Should have
it.
stuck with the original plan.
Yep, and that's the biggest, in my mind, the most glaring issue with it. But no, I think that it's good that they're dialing back because
In both camps,
Yeah.
Marvel and Star Wars,
Yeah.
they both need to reel that shit back and
yes,
give us quality. We don't want quantity.
Well, right,
Quality.
and leave me wanting something, because that's the only way that you're going to keep people's attention and keep them, exploring all the other outlets. Keep me wanting something instead of Star Wars. You want it, you fucking got it. We got you something every 3 months. Boom, 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 and then
Here's that
point-
drip feed.
Yeah,
Here's that drip feed.
Exactly. Like, keep me wanting something, and that's what I think that they're trying to do. I hope they're trying to do. If you think they'd have any fucking foresight at all. But
Seems
here
that's the plan, though. At least that's what they're saying. So look forward to
Well,
it. Not that
shit,
they're
it
going to
came
have a
from-
choice but to
Came
wait
from
anyway.
the boss's mouth
the
himself.
man,
so I
the
mean,
Iger,
yeah. So it's happening.
Bobby Iges.
Say they're going to have a lot extra time to work on these things anyway. Well, not really, because people aren't allowed to work on it. So
But
No.
here's the thing. If you think for a second, this strike isn't them writing and getting all this shit put together themselves, and then when shit drops, they're like, "Oh, all that money, pay me on my new shit."
Right.
Pay me on my new stuff. So we could get a lot of hotness from this strike, but it's like when a rapper goes to jail, it's gonna come out and he's gonna drop a banger of an album.
that's happening.
What an analogy! Oh my god.
Came out
It's
left
like when
field,
a
but
rapper
it checks
goes to
out.
jail.
Well, yeah, it's facts.
Oh my god.
It's true.
All that extra time.
Lil Boozy came out and dropped some heat.
All right, that wraps up.
Wrap this shit up.
Yes.
Good
Thank you
God.
guys so much for tuning in. If you guys would like an audio-only version, we are on Spotify. And, of course, if you are listening to the audio version on Spotify, you can find our pretty little faces on YouTube. And, of course, Tardy to the Party. And to you that have been watching on YouTube, thank you so much. If you could,
Fucking
please
gorgeous.
like, maybe subscribe if we've earned that from you. Also, what did you guys think of all the reviews we did today? Did you guys hate Secret Invasion as much as we did? Are you guys
Probably did.
feeling the hype for My Adventures of Superman like we
The
are?
general consensus is people hated it.
And of course, that dastardly Harley Quinn. What are you thinking of that? So until next time, I'm your boy Jay Sib.
I'm KP.
And it's the bull.
See ya later.
God. You didn't like my rapper reference?
No!
I love it.
Ooh.